Look to the sky, out to the stars. Believe what you find, no matter where you are. You can go on and make this world a better world. Days come and gone, feeling undone, shattered and torn. How will we belong again? We stand in line and we amend for a better time. I'd be better off all alone. We can stay up until it's light. Forget my fate, let's kick off to the side. Oh, when the daytime comes, you go. Yeah, I think I'd be better off all alone. Yeah, I think I'd be better off all alone. Think I'd be better off all alone. Yeah, I think I'd be better off all alone. Yeah, I think I'd be better off all alone. Think I'd be better off all alone. Think I'd be better off all alone. I don't wanna love you when you're stoned. I feel like I'd be better off on my own. Yeah, well I don't wanna lose you in the smoke. Yeah, I think I'd be better off all alone. Better off all alone. Yeah, I think I'd be better off all alone. Think I'd be better off all alone.
Alright, so it's Mark, and testing, hopefully this works. Looks like it works. Alright, so let's get started. So this is what, part number 6 of our puppet making excursion. And so you guys might notice that what I have here is some plastic wrap on my clay, as well as on our puppet that we sculpted. And so you guys might not really think this is important, but in fact it is, because as you sculpt, you don't want to have dust particles on your puppet. If you have dust on there, what'll happen is, over time, as you sculpt, it'll get dirtier and dirtier, and you don't want that. So just a quick, solution for that is plastic wrap. You can use aluminum foil or paper or really anything, just to cover it. You can even put your puppet in sort of like a plastic box or something if you want to as well. Okay, so last time what we did is we mixed up these colors, and here's what our puppet needs to look like. So I've got our design off to the side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the color that I used on the legs, and I'm going to start building it up some more. And so we've got obviously the arms to build it up on, we've got the head and the belly and the back as well. And so let's see, I'm going to unwrap our plastic wrap, see how much clay we have, and so is that the right color? Too light? So it's this one. So here's our color, and I want to make sure to make this fairly thin if possible. I don't want to use too much of this because I don't have a lot. So I'm just going to kind of go over it, and I'm using a 007 wax spatula. So let me adjust things a bit here so I could have this closer to myself, because trying to sculpt with a puppet that's far away from your body is difficult. So make it closer to myself here. Put the eyeballs to the side. Alright. So we got lots of people tonight. So I don't know how many of you guys have made your own clay puppets, but this is how I make my puppets. So you can see what I'm doing. Focus. Alright. So last time we put the legs, kind of added some clay here. And I want to make sure that all this looks nice and clean and shapely and appealing. I don't want to make it has to be something that you enjoy looking at, because if you like the way it looks, there's a good chance others will as well. And to see something that looks good that's animated is a lot better than seeing something that is kind of half-assed. Like, you don't want to rush through making a puppet. You want to make it look nice. So usually what I'll do is I'll kind of go over the whole thing and make it look pretty good. And then I will take mineral oil and put it on my fingers and kind of go over the whole thing and smooth it. That's what I use to smooth my clay with, mineral oil. I have used olive oil in the past as well, and olive oil works pretty good, but what I found is that over time, and it takes a long time, like it takes like maybe 8 months to a year before it happens, but your clay will tend to turn like a yellowish green color, at least on the surface, because whatever oil that you put on here, it will absorb into maybe about a millimeter deep or so into the surface, and will turn kind of rancid with olive oil. And when that happens, it doesn't smell or anything. It doesn't really hurt the clay, but you know, the fact that it changes the color is sometimes a bad thing, especially in a long production. So if you use olive oil and you plan to make like replacement faces, it will yeah, you might have like a lower face that is, you know, an off greenish beige color or brown color, and you know, if you use like brown clay for darker skin, it will make it darker. So, you know, that's one of the things I learned on Zombie Pirate Tales when I made one of my puppets called Ruble. And the reason why, you know, you might ask, like, why would you use olive oil? And it was just an experiment that I did, and I thought it would work. And when I tried it, it actually did. And the reason why I didn't use mineral oil is because mineral oil tends to harm your skin if you use it a lot. Like if you just use it once in a while, I don't think it hurts. People use it for like as a laxative and skin moisturizer, I suppose. Like there's, you know, they call it baby oil, so you put it on your baby or whatever, which I don't really know why people do that. But you know, so it's not really harmful. But if you use it a lot, it actually is. It will go into your skin, and under your skin where that layer of fat is, it will do what they call defatting your skin. Kind of a weird thing, and I never knew that. So that's probably why it bothers my skin, and that's why I went with olive oil. But after using the olive oil and seeing what it did to my puppets, I decided to, you know, go back to mineral oil again, and that's what I use now. But after I use the mineral oil, I make sure to use baby wipes on my fingers and get whatever residue there is on my fingers off right away, so it doesn't really harm me in any way, you know, hopefully. Sometimes I'll still get like little blisters and stuff, really small ones. So if you're sensitive to stuff like that, you know, just keep it in mind. If you want to use mineral oil and you are sensitive to it, you can just wipe it off. All right. That's a good question, Hoserloo. All right, so this area here is going to be our mouth for our puppet. So I'm not going to put any of this colored clay on there. I'm going to put the darker colored clay. It's going to build up around this here. So I've still got a long ways to go. I've got to add a lot of clay probably to the head. Let's see, how wide is the head? It's got to be... making a measurement here, so the head has to be this wide. It's pretty wide, and the body has to be this wide. Gotta add some more clay back here. Keeping my fingers crossed that I have enough clay. Gin, huh? Maybe that would work. I've never tried using alcohol on my characters. Well, I take that back. I've used alcohol on Roma-based clays, but never tried it on Van Aken before, that I can remember. It might be a benefit to do that, though. So, wider still, even wider. So as you sculpt, you want to kind of make sure that the forms look good, that your you know, like this character is a frog and he's kind of chubby, so I gotta think in my mind like where the fat would be on his body. You know, how will it sit on his belly, and as it goes over his legs here. So I'm thinking maybe like a fold where the legs are a little bit. So I'll have like a crease there. And you gotta think about also how the clay will bend when you animate it, and kind of scrape off any dirt you see as you go. If I want to bend this leg, I want to make sure that it has a crease as well. Well, thanks, Dylan. Yeah, I tried to document zombie pirate tales so that everybody could see how a stop motion film is made, and only took me like 10 years, but I did finish it, and so much happened before I could finish it in my life that it just took forever. Sometimes I was like helping other people on their projects, and that's one thing that I was doing a lot, and other family stuff. So let's see, is this the correct width? Almost the correct width. When did I get the idea for zombie pirate tales? Oh man, it was a long time ago. I was in still in St. Peters, Missouri before I moved to Pennsylvania, which is like, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago or something like that. And myself and somebody else, we started to work on it, and that person and I started to try to raise money for the project, and the other person didn't trust me, and it's like a like when you hear about these relationships where somebody's really jealous and they start to suspect that you're doing crazy things like hiding money and doing other things behind their back. And the person I was working with was a good artist, but make a long story short, just didn't work out with us on a business relationship. So artistically it was great, but business-wise, I almost raised a ton of money for it. I had somebody ready to pay for us to create it, and I had to turn the money down because I wasn't really interested in making tons of money. I was wanting to make a film, and but I wanted to make sure I didn't waste the investors' money. I had to make sure that the other people involved were trustworthy and trusting back, and it was kind of like a weird thing. So so it used to be a different project. It was based. What I've done is based on something called just zombie pirates, not zombie pirate tales, and it was going to be pretty cool, but yeah, sometimes life does that to you. You get, you run into people and things just don't work out. Maybe part of it was my fault. I always think back on it like, did I do something? And I don't know. But anyway, that's history. Alright, so I think the body might be the correct width. Let's see. Just a little bit wider. Add some clay here. Alright. So the question is, am I going to sculpt the back part of him? I'm kind of contemplating that right now because I don't know if I have enough clay for that. So I might not. I might not actually do it. I think last week I mentioned that I would. But right now, I'm not so sure, actually. Not so sure. Let's see. A little bit more here in the middle. Just rounder. it's always good to have reference material for stuff like this, and I don't have any frog photos that I'm looking at, so I'm kind of just winging it, but in my mind I'm thinking I probably should have something like that, just to get a more natural shape. But then again, this is a cartoon character, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, the first incarnation of Zombie Pirates, where I created different characters, I based some of the designs off of somebody else's drawings, which were really cool, and made a whole series, like a pitch package for investors, and I did a lot, and he did a lot of storyboarding, and it was going to be a lot of fun. But there's, if you have like $60,000, if someone wants to give you $60,000, and then you find out that somebody that you're working with, is not mentally stable. And I really hate to say that, but that's how I saw it at the time. Just a very emotional person, and he wanted to be like a partner, and that was great, but he had done a lot of work, and he wanted more than just credit for what he did. He wanted to like take over and everything, like be a producer, and he had no experience in stop motion. He was just he's a 2D person, and but I considered all those things, and we were trying to save money, and he was in a different country, and he wanted to have all these, it's just, oh man, it's just a big mess. But if you don't have trust for each other, but he didn't trust me, so I didn't want to deal with that later on, and had to tell my investors, why somebody walked out on a project halfway through, or maybe he had a mental breakdown or something, or I don't know. Yeah, it's a long story. But Zombie Pirate Tales is, I just wanted to make a film at the time, and I used my characters, I designed them, and it was fun, and I completed it, and that's what matters, And this is before like Kickstarter and Indiegogo even existed, and I did have investors, for the film. A lot of very nice people helped out and made donations through PayPal at the time for Zombie Pirate Tales. And you can get like a PayPal donation button for your blog. It's really easy to do. You just set up a PayPal account, and you get some HTML code, and you plop it on your webpage. And when you do that, anybody can make a donation. And I was very open and upfront with everybody about the project. I would say like I needed $75 for a gallon of silicone, and I have $30, so I need $45. If anybody can donate, that would be very helpful. And some of my family donated, and then lots of had maybe like, I don't know, 8 or 9 donators or something like that. And some of them, I don't know, it took so long to make the film that I lost contact with some of them, but I tried to, when the film was done, contact everybody and thank them, and send them a link to the finished product, the finished film, and so they could see it, see what their money went towards, I really wanted to make sure that even though my life had a lot of ups and downs, that I would finish the project, like I promised everybody I would. And so even though it took 10 years, I still stuck with it. And some of my family would always encourage me, of course, and my friends and stuff. So it was it was a good thing, you know. It's just, let's do this here. I mean, like what I'm doing now, just making puppets, is, you know, if I didn't get paid to do it, I would still do it anyway. Which is kind of what I did with Zombie Pirate Tales, and you know, the donations were, some of them were pretty good. You know, I got some pretty big donations. Nothing like, you know, $10,000 like you see on Kickstarter these days. Like some people get tons of money. I never did, but I didn't need it either because it was just myself. I didn't have like a big studio. You know, like I didn't have to pay for electricity and water and rent of a large studio warehouse or anything. You know, so my costs were very small. It was just a matter of my time and supplies, and of course software like Dragon Frame. And let's see if this is good. Alright, at the proper width. Make sure that the bottom to the top is the right height. The right height. So, just so you guys can see, I take a measurement here, like this, and then put my dividers here, and make sure that that coincides, and also with the width of the head, like this. So anyway, you know, speaking of like trust issues and stuff like that on projects, if you do make a film project, you know, and you're going to ask for money, you really need to be honest with people. You can't hide things. You know, you got to be open. You got to tell them where your money is gone and where it's going. Because if people can't trust you, they're not going to give you their money. They're just going to think that you're going to take their money and run, you know. So what I did is, for Zombie Pirate Tales, I would, if I asked for any kind of donations, I would actually post photos of what I bought. You know, what I bought with those donations. So if it was a gallon of silicone or 2x4s for my set, you know, anything like that. This way you're accountable. You know, you want to, I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that will take money and disappear. And you know, if people start doing that as part of the stop motion community, and people lose trust of stop motion animators, you know, it's not good too. So you want to make sure that you're also representing the community as well, because it's really hard for all of us to make projects, you know, to get money. And is Animate Clay a business or just me? Well, it's just me, but it's my business as well. So like the stop motion store is just me, you know, and I have suppliers that I work with, and you know, we've had really long business relationships. A lot of good people out there, like Tetsu from Japan that makes our Armor Benders armature kits. I've known Tetsu for like probably like 10 years already, you know. I've sold his armature kits. Really nice guy, and I never met him, you know. But you know, email always works, and it's worked for us really well. You know. So it is my business, but of course there's other people involved, but they're my suppliers. Most of them are overseas. I also, like right now, I don't know if you can hear my 3D printer. It's printing out a T-Rex skull that I designed for the Bendy's armature kits that I worked on, or I'm working on. So, you know, I make products myself as well. So it's kind of just a big mixed bag. And I also I have a sculpting service, so I sculpt for people. see. So Janet says, today I read about a group of filmmakers who raised $75,000 on Kickstarter for a movie, spent this money in Italy. Oh no. Yeah, that's the thing. There are people like that. There's definitely people like that out there, and that is really sad. Really sad. That reflects on all filmmakers too. When you do that, it's really mean, because a lot of people that donate, sometimes they donate just little amounts of money that they have. Like maybe they have an extra, $30, and they actually want to help out others, and then it goes to waste like that. That's really bad. I mean, that's common sense, but a lot of people, it's not so common, I guess. I don't know. Alright, so how is this looking? Let's see. So I'm going to kind of turn this a bit, and I'm not going to add too much, but I am going to add some clay towards the back part here. Make sure that all this is... I don't think I have enough clay for the back, so I'm going to do the arms and the hands with the remaining clay. But I am going to make sure that there's enough clay towards the sides so that our camera will not see that, or not see this darker color clay. And if I have to, I can always make up some more of this color, later on. Be pretty simple to make more of it. I'm going to add a little piece under here, because and let's see, make sure that this shape is good. I thought I'd have enough clay. Yeah, you can buy a lot of stuff with that. 75,000 bucks. Or euros, or whatever it is, Alright. Let's see. So, shape-wise, I think the shape is pretty good from a frontal view. Like I say, I don't think I have enough clay to do the whole back. I've got toes to do still, things like that. Let's see. So, got some mineral oil here in a cup, and I put some paper towels in there, and this is a trick that John Ashley always taught me. You can get some of that mineral oil on your finger and go over your clay and smooth it like this. So that's kind of how you smooth it out. You can see the difference between, mineral oil smoothing and tool marks everywhere, which isn't as nice. So get back in here, move the arms up. Yep. Yeah. I don't have a profile design. I didn't design the profile part of things, but the front looks pretty good. So when you smooth it, you know, this is kind of like the way I do things. I don't sculpt the whole thing and then smooth it. I make sure that the underlying layer of colors are smooth before I add new colors and or details. So, like for example, if I wanted to add lips in this kind of configuration, I would first smooth it out and then add lips on top of the smoothed out parts. Just because when you smooth it, you get a better idea of what things actually look like. Alright. Getting pretty smooth now. And as I'm smoothing, I'm making sure that there's no like wrinkles in the clay. Even though I'm going to cover a lot of this with different colored clay as well, so but I want to make sure that everything is really nice and clean and smooth. Alright, so you'll notice that there are parts that my fingers can't get into, like my big thumb here. So, you know, I'll use either a tool like this and just kind of get in there and smooth it out a bit, and use my fingers again, and then smooth it again with a tool. And depending on how it looks at this point, I know I need to have some dark clay under here for his mouth, so I'm going to take a piece of dark clay. But first, take a paper towel and kind of clean my hands. Like I said before, if you're allergic to mineral oil, you want to make sure that you kind of get your fingers nice and clean. Rub the sides of your thumb or your pointer finger or wherever the clay is, you know, get that off your fingers. It also prevents a problem with clay like this, which is that the colors will, you know, you get a certain color on your finger and you touch the other color, and the colors tend to spread that way. Now, if you're using puppet putty, which is, you know, another kind of clay that's great for animation, you don't have that problem so much. But with Van Aken, it's definitely an issue. So keep your fingers nice and clean. So here's some darker colored clay. This will be the inside of the mouth. And so we'll kind of get in there and smooth it out. Make sure enough of it is, you know, covering everywhere that it has to be covered. And then I'm just going to kind of look at the shapes and see if I still like it. You know, if there's anything I want to have changed. And maybe smooth out the feet a bit. The feet are pretty messy right now, so get these cleaned up. Now it's kind of hard to see. I can't show everything on camera because of my hands being in the way, but it's kind of getting in here and making sure everything is nice. And your style will differ from other people. Like if you get really good at sculpting, the amount of tool marks that you actually leave in there and the amount of smoothness that you also, the more that you smooth it, the more detail is lost. So the amount of detail that you leave in there makes a difference in how your character looks, and your style will You gotta balance smoothness and texture. I mean, there's a lot to think about. You gotta care about how your puppet will move and where the creases are. Will kind of determine that in some ways. You gotta think about how smooth you want it, how much detail you want to add. You gotta think about, like, when you animate it, if there's too much detail, will it be easier to animate or harder to animate? Plus, what is your skill level? And also, how much time do you want to spend on it? Does it enhance your story to have a really detailed character? Or can you tell your story with, like, a really simple puppet? You gotta weigh all those pros and cons. So, this puppet is kind of, semi-complicated, but he won't be doing a lot. He's just got, movable arms and stuff, and you can animate his mouth when it's done. Alright. It's not too bad. I'm kind of thinking that I might want to add more clay, like under here. Just a little bit. Kind of give him some, like some cheeks in this area. Something in cheeks. So I'm going to add just, some blobs of clay on here like this. And maybe a little bit of like a gel kind of thing going on. Little chubby gels right here. Yeah, so Randy is saying that most of his characters are really smooth and bland, he says, because animating a lot of details is hard. Takes more time. I mean, the old school Will Vinton characters that were animated were usually complex, and they spent a lot more time in animation. They had less time constraints than they do nowadays. Like, the turnover in the animation department would have been like several months, and now it's almost like 6 weeks. You gotta create a 30-second commercial, and it's just not enough time. And that's really unfortunate, because if there was time, there'd be so much more amazing clay animation art out there. But that's life, I guess. Okay, so you see how I'm kind of adding details in here with the clay. And now he's going to have a pair of nostrils that are up here someplace. Here's my design. So we're going to kind of add these nostrils here, as well as some lips, and the lips will come down to this area. So for the nostrils, we'll kind of stick these on, and for the lips, I'll make an area where those will be attached, and he will have like a sort of crease here. I'm make sure I've got things a little bit more symmetrical, so add a little bit of clay. Okay. So maybe some more cheek. Okay. So this is pretty much, when you look at it, you want to see how things are progressing, and if you like the shapes as they're coming, forming, you want to see if they're too big, too small, if they're in the right spot, and you're kind of constantly just analyzing your sculpture as you go and looking at what you like and what you don't like. There's not any particular rule here that I'm following, but you want to kind of go half with measurements and half with your eyes. So, when you're first sculpting your character, make sure it fits into your design. And once it's pretty close, unless there's some kind of reason why you have to, just keep adding clay and see how it looks, and it should be all right in most cases. Now I do want to add the eyes on here now, so I'm going to get some wire cutters real quick. Okay. So I get one there. I snip our wire a bit. So this one. And then, hopefully, get that on there. It's got one eyeball. Cut that shorter a bit. Doesn't really want to break there. Alright, so we got two eyeballs. And the third eyeball. So I'm going to cut this just a little shorter. Okay, so there we are. So now we got our eyeballs in place for the most part. And that'll be okay. And our nostrils somewhere on here. So that's not going to work. So I'm just kind of, looking at the drawing, the design, and back at the sculpture, and kind of comparing things and seeing is it good, is it not good. That's pretty much the process. There's not much more to it than that. So, using your eyes is really important. So his nostrils are kind of up here like this. Out like that. AJ, you need to go to bed. Go to bed. It's almost 10 o'clock. Come on. Alright, so my son doesn't want to sleep. Anyways, let's see. How does this look? So there it is. So you can kind of see how our design kind of lines up with our sculpture. I'm probably going to add just a little bit more clay on both sides here. Alright, so I think this will be enough clay for his head and body, and I think the shape is pretty good as well. So I kind of wanted to have a more gradual curve here and on the other side, like the drawing. So just add a little bit more clay and smooth it out a bit. The same here as well. Take your tool and get in there. See how that looks. All right. Alright, so let's see. Now I'm going to add some clay to the arms. And let's see. So you can kind of see him already starting to have some character, some personality to him already. And we're not done yet, so we have a low. But now you notice that the arm, the clay that I put on this wire, because I've melted the clay on the armature, it sticks really well and it doesn't just slip off. So if you were to just put clay on wire by itself, it would probably just fall off really easily. Well, yeah, I yell at my son once in a while if he gets really obnoxious. I do yell at him, but yeah, my son came in here before. He said, "Daddy, I'm scared." But all the while he's like looking at what I'm doing, and he's got this big smile on his face, and it's like you can, after a while, that he's pulling my chain, as they say. Let's see. So I'm not sure if I should use this color clay around the eyes or darker clay. Alright, well, come to that road later. Cross that path later, I guess. Okay. So, are you guys falling asleep there? Does it seem kind of boring to watch this? I always kind of wonder if this is something that people would like, because the process takes a long time, to make a puppet. Probably takes about, maybe, depending on the complexity, you could spend like 10 hours making a character, at least 10 hours, maybe longer. Really depends on how complicated, what you're going to do. And now you'll also notice with this character, there's no finger wires. There's no wires for the fingers, for the armature, and that's because you don't really need it. You can stick a piece of clay on here like this, and you'll see that, this finger here will support itself really well. So you don't have to worry too much about that. So I've only got this much blue clay left. So that's enough for fingers and toes and a little bit more on the arms. But if it gets too sparse, I might have to make more of this color, which will, I might do that next week. So I'm going to beef up these arms just a little bit more. I want to make sure there's some shape to them. I don't want them to be just like a stick, you know. Now he's got like little shoulder blades, and so I'm going to add those maybe here. On the other side, so there's some meat to his shoulders, or there'd be like a muscle there or something. So Beard is saying I'm actually working on my own stop motion while working, so I'm not falling asleep. Alright, cool. Anybody else working on any stop motion projects that are anything fun? There's a lot out there on the internet, but you know, stop motion takes forever to do, and so a lot of people don't really post very often. I know a lot of people are in school and college now, so it's always kind of hard to find time to do what you love. You don't want kids, Janet? Well, that's alright. Kids are a lot of work. Real lot of work. Alright, so getting some meat on these arms. Starting to look a little bit better. Give me some elbows. Always looking at the shapes, seeing how they look. Oh, cool. So you got a ping pong table, huh? As your stop motion area? That's pretty cool. That's a pretty good size area. That's like, what? How many square feet is that? Like, maybe 12 square feet or something like that? That's cool. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know what the word is, but it's, once you have like an area set up for stop motion, it's just a pretty good feeling, you know. It's like you have your own space, do your own creative work, and it kind of motivates you also to, you know, to get in there and do something because you've got your own little studio space and whatnot. Alright, so looking at my drawing, these cheekbones are too low here. I'm going to cut these off. make these higher. Alright, so the cheekbone's gotta have to go like right here instead. Under the eyes. These crazy eyeballs. Back to the arms a little bit. So my anatomy is not really that great, as you can tell, but I think just having these shapes and, you know, a rough approximation of where things should be, it's better than having no shape at all. You want to make sure that there's something there that resembles an arm. In some sort of way. You don't want to make it too complicated as well, because during animation, as you animate something like this, you know, you're going to have to keep sculpting it to make sure that these creases don't crack too large or anything. So you want to keep it fairly simple, but you want to have the impression that there's something tangible there. Getting here, these shapes, and then I gotta add some more clay here. This. Yeah, so I'm pretty much running out of clay for fingers and stuff. I've only got this little piece left. So probably next week I'll have to make up some more of this color. So now that I kind of have an idea of where the shapes are and where they need to be and how it all looks with these eyeballs, I'm going to just kind of re-smooth all this out, because I know that this is pretty close to where it has to be now. See, what time is it? Alright, so that's been about an hour. I'm going to smooth this out and wrap up this show for the night. And next week I'll probably mix up some more clay. We'll add the teeth in here. Definitely need some teeth, for sure. Make sure this all looks nice. Yeah, if you want to ever post pictures, that'd be cool. I mean, it's always fun to see what everybody else is doing out there. A lot of people feel, you know, alone in their stop motion making, you know, projects. Because there's not a whole giant amount of people that do this. Okay. So we're getting pretty close to the shape that we want. Smooth it out with some of our mineral oil again in our container. Let's see here. So a lot of people are always kind of astonished that you can smooth it out really well like this with just oil. Or they'll see my puppets and they'll say, wow, how did you get it so smooth? And really, this is all I do. This is it. And then I use a brush as well to kind of get into details if I have to, like this. Kind of get in there. Yeah, it's a really nice clay. You know, I love Van Aken clay, and it's what I'm used to because I've used it for so many years. You know, you can do a lot of good things with this for animation purposes, and like I said, puppet putty is also another really good clay if you have access to that. And I think Webster Colcord, like I said, Webster Colcord, what he does is he'll mix in some puppet putty in with his Van Aken to make it smoother and easier to animate and less prone to melting during animation. So there's a lot of different clays out there and techniques you can use. Get in here like this, and you know, I don't really want to stop working on this. I want to keep going, but like I said last week, I do have paid work to do, so I can't spend all my time on this one. But every week, so next week we will work on this some more, make some more progress on it. Let's see here, I'm gonna get this a little bit smoothed out in the arms. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of see here. Yeah, I might refine these cheeks a bit next week, kind of make them a little bit more prominent. But I think this is gonna be okay for now. Something like that. Nostrils. And if you're wondering why I'm leaving the mouth kind of like this, it's not going to be like that in the end, of course. It's going to be nice and shaped properly, but let's see about where we are and where we have to go still. So there's our design. So we got to add teeth in here. We've got to add the lips, which will be a different color. And what else? We've got to add clay over the eyes, fingers, toes, all the little different colors. The belly and all this is going to be different colors. And all right, so that does conclude our show for tonight. I'm gonna put that little piece of clay there. That's all I've got left. I'm gonna wrap up with plastic, and yeah, if you guys have any questions, make sure to maybe send me an email, mark@animateclay.com. And if you have any suggestions or anything, of course, use our forums on our website, and I will see you guys all next week. See you all later.